trying to sound like, in America, your actors are all crap. They're clearly not. You have Melissa McBride, for God's sake. But
there's a lot of great British actors, for sure.
Like, Andrew Lincoln, David Morrissey, and Lenny James all have really similar backgrounds in terms of, like, British TV dramas, but also theatre, also, like, lots of stuff on the West End, and, well, not the West End, but, like, other London new writing plays and things like that. And I'm just like, I just think it gives you a different kind of performer. And Peter was just like, yeah, The Walking Dead agrees, because we were looking at the screen and it was all just, like, British people putting on American accents. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, even Lauren Cohan has a British accent.
Right? And I think the casting of Rick really opened that up. I don't think they would necessarily have gone that way if they hadn't had Andrew Lincoln. But then Lenny James is in the pilot, so, like,
yeah,
who's to say? But yeah, it says a lot about how much we like Lenny James, that even after Fear the Walking Dead, we're like, we still like you, Lenny. You're still good. Okay, an IMDb dive. Again, some of these are really random. To create Herschel's amputated leg, the visual effects department has Scott Wilson wear a green sock. Wilson said, acting like you don't have a leg gives you muscles in places you didn't used to have.
Yeah, I remember seeing behind-the-scenes photos of him with that big green sock.
Oh my god, I'd love to. The tattoos on Daryl's back are indeed real. They are 2 of Norman Reedus's demons, and he has a 3rd one under his arm. That way he always carries his demons with him. I'm sure the Reedus fans will let me know if that's true or not. A fact that Jason can verify, the zombie extras are taught to gesture wildly only when they get shot in the head.
No, they never told me that. But they said, I mean, if you were gesturing wildly, yeah, you wouldn't be doing that. Lucy's waving her arms around. They told you to walk like you're drunk, basically.
I'm acting like a British actor.
Maybe some drunk people do that.
I did once when I'd had too much beer and I ran away because I wanted to eat Indian food, and Peter had to chase me across a gas station car. It was really near where we stayed in Glasgow, actually, Jason. I'm sure we pointed it out. Peter's like, this is the place where Lucy got really drunk and ran away. I paid for it the next day because I was very hungover. Don't drink. Anyway.
Yeah, your zombie practice. I mean, every time I got, like, I played, I got shot a few times in the season 2 finale and then twice in the season 3 finale coming up. And, I'd just be shambling along. And then as soon as I got shot, I and fall to the ground and, be real dramatic about it.
Just be like, oh my God, he shot me. He really shot me. Herschel, why? Dunning-Kruger effect we've spoken about, and no spoken dialogue in this episode for the first 5 minutes, as also discussed.
I love that.
So, yeah.
That's cool, yeah.
It's good. It's a nice way to open the episode, even if it does involve Rick snog in the air.
Almost any time The Walking Dead has scenes like that, they're good.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Okay, only on The Walking Dead would someone see a ghost and wonder what it was a sign of, but not ask the ghost.
Only on The Walking Dead would someone watch a man make out with a ghost and later decide that man was the love of their life. I feel like Michonne, like, I love you, girl, but we gotta ask you some questions at this point. Like,
she's like, oh, I had forgotten about that.
Yeah. She's like, you see when we first met? And Rick's like, yeah. She's like, what was it with that fence? And he's like, what? And she's like, never mind.
That was me and Lori.
Yeah.
your wife?
I loved when Herschel was like, and are they here right now? Can you see them now? And Rick's like, no.
That is good.
Oh, bless him.
Obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a Walking Dead Cast news update.
So since we podcasted last, I went and saw the new Alien movie, Alien Romulus.
Oh, how was it?
It was good. It was a good horror alien movie. I mean, nothing will ever measure up to those first two, but it was gross.
Nice.
I recommend it if you're into Alien. And it was more like the first Alien, which I liked the best, a good scary horror movie, but it had elements of its own thing in the second one. Anyway, I'm bringing that up because I read that that Fede Alvarez, who wrote and directed it, said that one of the characters in the movie, Kay, was inspired by a character in The Last of Us Part 2 game. Her name is Dina, and he cast Isabella Merced as Kay, who was inspired by this character of Dina, and then Isabella Merced ended up being cast to play Dina in season 2 of The Last of Us coming up on HBO.
Amazing.
That was kind of interesting.
Oh, it was meant to be.
Yeah, meant to be.
We went to see Trap.
Which one is that?
Josh Hartnett, M. Night Shyamalan,
Oh,
serial killer at a concert.
don't tell me the twist ending.
It was so entertaining. It was garbage,
Really?
but it was so entertaining. Hartnett was
Yeah.
really good. Hartnett was very good in it.
Trailers made me want to go see it. Like, I just realized pretty quickly I don't really like M. Night Shyamalan movies. I think there's something really interesting about the vibe he creates that I love.
Yeah.
But the stories I feel like are just kind of dumb. But maybe I'll go see that one.
I don't think I'd seen one in a long time. But Hartnett, honestly, really, really good in it. But yeah, it was
That's
cheesy
cool.
AF. And like bits of it, as soon as you put like a slight bit of pressure on the logic, you're like, that would never happen. But it was very enjoyable.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. You just have to not do that, I guess. I did like Servant, the series that he did. I like that.
I need to go back and watch that.
Yeah,
but
I think
yeah,
you'd
no,
like it.
it's a proper. I'm glad I went to see it in the cinema because it was just so extra.
Kooky.
Yeah, very enjoyable.
I think that would be the way to do a good M. Night Shyamalan movie, is just really lean into the kookiness of it.
Yeah.
So, speaking of The Last of Us, wildlife researcher Chris Kitola posted a video on his Instagram of this tarantula infected with the cordyceps fungus. Because the cordyceps fungus that you see in The Last of Us came from... It actually happens in the insect world. So now you see this big tarantula. And you remember the clickers in Last of Us? How they had things growing on their head? This tarantula has them coming up all over its body.
Jason, that's the worst thing you've ever told me. Oh my God.
Awesome. I gotta read this part. I gotta read this part for the listeners. Close your ears. It's not that bad. This guy said it took over his nervous system, the tarantula, and forced him to come to this location. And then as he died, the fungus sprouted out of his body, allowing the spores to spread to another unsuspecting tarantula.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's made me feel so sick. I'm literally gonna kill.
It's a Last of Us podcast. We have to report this. I can't. There's nothing I can do.
Oh, that is the world.
I'll send you the picture,
end.
though.
No, do not send me that picture.
Link in the show notes, Lucy.
Oh, don't. No. Ew. Oh, God.
Okay, let's
that's
move
awful.
on. The last thing is about. I'm trying to think of something gross.
It's about boogers.
Yeah, boogers.
Still better.
This week in boogers. No, season 3 of the Daryl Show has started filming in Madrid, Spain.
Ooh.
So season 2 is not out yet. It comes out September 29th, but season 3 is filming. The official title is going to be The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol, Chapter 3, Morgan Returns. You know what it is. So... Just kidding, but it is
on
filming.
Espanol.
It actually is. Yeah, it's going to be in Spanish. And also along those same lines, if you have AMC Plus, there's going to be an hour-long special looking ahead to season 2 called The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Return, that will air Sunday, September 29th, the same night as the season 2 premiere, in case people want to check that out.
Ooh, that's exciting. I saw an article that Norman Reedus had been spotted in Palma, which is a little touristy bit of Spain that one of my friends really loves going to. They always stay in this really cute apartment. And I was like, this is a very niche intersection of our interests. But Norman Reedus is in Palma. I don't know if he's still there.
He's living it
I
up.
assume not. Yeah.
Next, it'll be Walking Dead Hawaii. We'll finally get our Walking Dead Hawaii.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
That'd be amazing. All right, let's move on to Listen, Moans, Groans, Grunts.
Okay. Ejipin Baphomet Samara Wakrama, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, says, I really do wonder what kind of person Axel would have become had he not been killed off in this episode. I was starting to like the fella. He was funny, awkward, and more than a little endearing.
Absolutely.
It's all about that facial hair at Ichipan, I think.
And when he would go to Walker Stalker, at least, Lou Temple, the actor, he'd have that mustache, and you could always recognize him. Beth Pieri says, quote, he's Korean. This episode and that line marked a change in Daryl's growth for me. Me too. Him being able to walk away from his brother showed strength. Herschel's compassion really shines through in this episode. When Axel says that he's better on the inside with rules and such, then you know that he couldn't survive in the ZA. Yeah, I guess I was kind of thinking that too.
Yeah.
The governor is so duplicitous, telling Andrea that he should give up power, but then going in guns blazing, cold-hearted. Yeah, he's full of shit. I always hated the scenes with Rick hallucinating because I just don't think a man in his position would go through that. But I guess I've never been there. Yeah, what do you mean? Like, he's been through hell. I think I could totally understand it. Glenn really takes charge here. He's ready to make plans and get shit done. That's true. That's one good thing for him. I have such a spot of some sort for Milton. I would say a soft spot. Yeah, me too. I love Milton.
Yeah. Billy Thompson says, I love Carol's line, we're not assassins. Just shows how angry Just shows how angry Glenn is still. He's not thinking realistically at all, but at the same time, still managing to be a good leader when Rick is absent. Daryl is already completely different than Merle, and I think they both realise this almost instantly. When this all comes to a head just after the bridge, I'm so proud of Daryl. It's like the birth of the Daryl we get for seasons to come. Zombie kill of the week? Daryl smashing the Zed's head in the boot of the car. Woohoo, baby. I love it. Seeing Herschel try and calm Glenn down got me wondering, what would Herschel have been like with two legs in this situation? Would he have physically stopped Glenn? Would he have gone to Woodbury? Would he have been the leader instead of Glenn when Rick's wandering crazy town? I think we covered that, Billy. Yeah, we were interested by that too. Anyway, a lot of things said in this episode that needed to be and ends with a bang. Better episode than I remember. Thanks, guys. Bye. We are of a mind, Billy. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You wonder, like, Herschel could still lead without, he doesn't need a leg to lead. I don't know. Maybe it would be reasonable if someone just, like in Yellow Jackets, I hope people don't mind spoilers for this one, but there's a character in that who you'd think would be a leader who lost a leg and is really fucked up by it and so doesn't lead. Yeah. But Herschel's not coming off that way. He's coming off like, actually, if he put his mind to it, he could just start going, okay, look, guys, this is what I think we need to do.
Yeah, exactly. Spaghetti Tuesdays.
That's right. From now on, that's going to solve all our problems. There was something else he said that I was going to reply. Oh, I love that you said zombie kill of the week because it makes me think, Billy, that maybe you've been listening to this podcast for a long time when we used to do that every episode.
Yeah.
Andy Fisher says, quote, we can't stay here. We can't run. My favorite aspect of The Walking Dead is that it puts you inside extreme situations and asks you, what would you do? Young love pushed to the limits, a crazy brother, your father's going insane, a savage, powerful, and insane enemy. If you had all that stuff going on, which some of them do. The episode makes me think of the wonderful title scene music, relentless, unstoppable, and everything about to explode. The threat of the dead is always there, but it's the characters trying to figure this crazy shit out that makes me fall in love with this show over and over. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My favorite scenes. 1, Michonne sizing up Glenn as she agrees to help him kill the governor. 2, back off, Beaner. 3, Rick helplessly following around the ghost of his dead wife. 4, I can't go with you. I'm not sure what that one's. I guess, Herschel saying he can't go with Glenn. 5, you're quite a lady. Was that the governor saying that to Andrea? I'm not sure. 6, the fight with the governor at the end of the episode. Can you tell me of a better fight scene in any episode of The Walking Dead? Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be some later on, but this was a pretty good one. And the brothers coming back to save the day. Mind blown. 7, the writing, the acting, the set design, the directing. Come on.
It's so
This
good.
must be one of the greatest episodes of the show, 5 Pizzas and a Ring.
I love that he always does 5 pizzas in a ring.
Me
That makes me
too.
really happy.
Yeah, I like continuity. That's good.
Yeah.
Here is the return of Robin.
Robin.
Hey y'all, it's me, Robin. I'm back. I bet you thought you'd never hear from me again. It's been quite a summer. I've been like Odysseus. I've had to go home to Ithaca twice this summer. First, I went for my grandson's high school graduation, which I got to tell you was a trip. And then I just got back a couple days ago from my actual 50th high school reunion, which if you don't think that's not a trip, just wait and go to yours. It's a major trip. It ended up being fun, but it was, oh God, it was awful. But first I wanted to talk a little bit. I know you've talked about Glenn and Maggie. I just want to mention a couple things about it. I think the thing with rape, because it is the first and worst, weapon of war, and it's the worst thing that most men can think of to do to a person. And it is the worst thing that they can do to a person. But I think that in Maggie's case, she could hear Glenn being brutalized in the other room. He could not hear what was going on with her. She heard Merle beating him up, heard the walker, heard the fight. Then the governor comes in and says he's going to bring Glenn's hand in. The worst thing for Maggie at that point was that she was sitting in that room and could hear everything and could do nothing to help Glenn. The person that she loved most in the world, she could not help. And that was worse. Even she said to the governor, do what you got to do, in a very flat voice, because the worst had already happened. Glenn doesn't know that, though. He thinks that, she's lying to him. He thinks that she's not telling him what really happened in there. And because it's about the girl that he loves more than anything in the world, and her body, her sexuality, it becomes about him in his mind somehow, because he couldn't help her either. So the two of them have this wedge between them because they couldn't help the other one. And Maggie does know the worst that happened. Glenn doesn't. And I think that when they're back in the prison and he asks her in the cell, what are we going to talk about this? And she says, it didn't happen. It did not happen. And she tells him what he did in that flat, emotionless voice, tells him what the governor did, and looking him in the eye, and he still doesn't believe her. And the only time at that point that she shows any emotion at all is when she says, I could hear what they were doing to you. What could I do? What could I do? So the thing that should draw them the closest, that they love each other and that they wanted to help one another and they wanted to rescue one another, is the thing that drives them apart. Because Glenn he's young. He doesn't know, and he won't believe her. He doesn't know how to behave. He doesn't know what to do, and he does tend to make those things about himself. He made it about himself in Nebraska when he was paralyzed with fear and couldn't help Rick and Herschel against those guys that they ended up killing. He made that all about himself too. He's so insecure in his manhood that he can't just step up and say, Maggie, I'm here. I'm here. It's okay for you. He just wants to talk about it. He wants to talk about it. And a lot of times women don't want to talk about it. They just don't. So that's my thought on it. I don't know if it's valuable or not.
She got cut off a little bit later, halfway through a thought, so I just cut it off there. But It's great to hear from you, Robin, for one thing. I'm glad you're
absolutely
still with us, still listening along. I feel like you and I have a lot of similarities on what we think happened, especially when you said he's not secure enough in his manhood. That sort of matched up with what I was saying this time. Maybe the part that you didn't touch on is he maybe in part and not rationally blames some of what happened on Maggie and is angry with her for it. So I'm curious, Robin, if you agree or disagree with that, but I think it could all be wrapped up in there. It's just confusing and complicated for him.
It's so complicated. It's trauma. It's really hard to unpack. Claire Retrer, who I was thinking about just the other day because I was putting up a picture that her daughter drew in my new house. So hi, Claire. Says, hi, Jason, Lucy, and everyone else. I've been along for the rewatch from the beginning, and I'm loving everything the amazing, smart, hilarious Deadcast is doing. You guys bring a smile to my face for so many reasons. Oh, thanks, Claire. I love the prison storyline so much. The showrunners did a stellar job, but I do wish Frank Darabont could have directed them in those prison hallways. Rick, Michonne, Carl, Daryl, Maggie, and Herschel all have so many pivotal moments in season 3. We probably have the most complex villain in the universe also. The acting throughout is at its best, and the story at its most captivating. I love season 2 also, but I will admit I played a lot more backgammon and solitaire on my phone when we were on the farm. While it's not my favourite season, season 3 is probably the closest to perfection. Other than slightly disappointing mid-season and season finales, and a few nitpicks, Laurie's body disappearing altogether, bones and all, and burying one body in 3 graves, it's well done on nearly every angle with a strong arc for everyone. I can't believe you and Lucy have only seen the show once. It makes it better to listen to you because you are surprised by so many things. I should say, Claire, I have seen some episodes more than once, but I also just have a very bad memory.
I mean, I watched them all at least twice when we were podcasting, and many of them probably at least 3 times, but then
it's the time since, isn't it?
Because I would only watch during that season multiple times and then haven't in years since. But yeah.
Same. Claire says I've probably watched the first 7 or so seasons at least 5 times. What can I say? Watching other people dealing with their trauma helped me with mine. I haven't written or called in a long time. Mostly because I'm busy, but a little because I'm going through some emotional stuff and it's too hard to communicate. I'm sorry to hear that, Claire. But aside from that, I want to say how much I love and appreciate this community. I'm grateful to hear friendly, familiar voices as we talk about all the things. Not just having a conversation about our favourite television show, but sharing little parts of our lives, maybe sharing a few big parts too. It brings me so much joy and has become important to me. There's so much racing through my head right now and I wish I could articulate it all. Just know that I love and appreciate you all. God bless and don't get bit. Claire. Oh, Claire.
Thanks, Claire.
Thanks, Claire.
It's nice to hear. It's good to hear from you too.
Yeah.
That part about watching other people deal with their trauma helps me with mine. That's kind of, what I love that, because that's why it's good for them not to just be smooth sailing through all this. They have to work it out, and it sort of inspires us to do the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Chantel Schmale says, hey guys, thanks for the Don't Get Bit shout out a couple weeks ago. I literally squeaked with delight.
Aww.
That's good. Hope you didn't get bit. Fun fact, the actress who played Dr. Stevens is Donzale Abernathy. Miss Abernathy is a character actress with a pretty great range. Wait, who's Dr. Stevens? Oh, you mentioned them last
they mentioned
week.
Doc Stevens in last week's episode, but I didn't realize they'd recast Doc Stevens as a woman, which is fantastic. But there is a doctor who tells the governor, like, don't get back up,
bit?
like, you need to rest. Yeah, she says, don't get bit. I bet this is who we're referring to. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. Who's in the room with him sometimes, I think, when he's questioning people and stuff. Miss Abernathy is a character actress with a pretty great range. And in my opinion, one of the coolest things about her father is the civil rights leader, Reverend Ralph Abernathy. He helped organize the Montgomery bus boycott and was on the balcony when Dr. King was assassinated.
Holy moly.
He also had a crazy crush on my grandmother back in the day. LOL.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
That's pretty cool. My understanding is that Miss Abernathy was none too pleased to find out how diminished her role was on the show. She thought she'd have more to do. I didn't even know. Like, now that you're saying, now I remember there was a doctor by his side a couple of times. She thought she'd have more to do given what the character did in the comics. I wish she'd been given more. I really like that actress.
Yeah, she was great.
I think Rick's response to Michonne is really his response to his shock of feeling so instantly and intensely drawn to her. I'm getting that too, especially since Laurie's only been dead like 48 hours. That's so funny. I think he was having an internal battle with himself over it and was also fighting the insanity triggered by the fact that Laurie's been dead like 48 hours. My son and I are watching the show together. He's finally old enough to want to, and we haven't caught up to your rewatch coverage yet. So forgive me if this didn't happen in The Suicide King, as I'm going off memory. It broke my heart to watch Michonne beg and barter to not be left behind at Woodbury. Yeah, there was so much desperation there. I hated that. I'll cry when the kid and I reach that point in the show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, last thing I'll say is this. I agree with Miss Renee. Andrea asked Michonne why they should leave, and Michonne told her that her gut feelings kept both of them alive all winter, and that gut is telling her it's time to go. Michonne's gut, not Andrea's. If they trusted Andrea's gut all winter, neither of them would be alive to even get to Woodbury in the first place. The first attractive man who, we didn't see that. We didn't see what happened between them, but she did say that, yeah. The first attractive man who would have come along, bam, Andrea's gut would have had them both signed up for his cult immediately. LOL. She isn't using reasoning skills I presume she developed in law school at all. She bugs me. Well, just again, in her favor, I'll say there's a lot of really smart people who end up in cults, and the first thing they tell you when they teach you how to help people sort of heal from that is not to say it was their fault, or that I could have totally, if it was me, I wouldn't have fallen for it, because we actually all fall for things, and under the right circumstances, I believe this, maybe everyone doesn't, but I believe that any of us could fall for something like that under the right circumstances. But she bugs me too, so yeah.
Yeah. But also she's the worst.
She says, okay, that's all I've got. Thank you. Oh, one last thing. Regardless of where you live, please check your voter registration. Even if you know you're registered, double check. Some states are purging voter rolls, so better safe than sorry. Let's bring this thing home. Quote, we are each other's harvest. We are each other's business. We are each other's magnitude and bond. Gwendolyn Brooks.
I love that.
Yes. Thank you, Chantel. Yes. If you go to vote.org, it's a great site. It's nonpartisan. It will help you figure out whether you're registered, and then how to register in your state, and also how to vote in your state if you want to vote early, or where to go if you want to vote on election day. So I recommend that. Vote.org.
Can you vote for Carol?
You can write Carol in.
Okay.
I mean,
Carol
she's
from
fictional.
The Walking Dead.
Just do it.
Do it, Dad.
Do it, Dad.
Do it, Dad.
All right. Here's a message from Carissa.
Hey, this is Carissa from PDX. Talking about season 2, episode 10. I'm forgetting how much Rick struggled with his mental health throughout the entire series, and it just kind of started with Lori's death. And I don't know, I think it's kind of cool how they are portraying the various traumatic reactions to the zombie apocalypse, and one of them is, extreme mental breakdowns in the form of Rick, and this is not his last one. So it's just really interesting to see this with his character.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff with Merle and Daryl, like the one super sad part was before Daryl walked away, where he saw the scars on his back, and they both kind of had this back and forth remembering their traumatic childhoods, and how Daryl apparently carried that resentment towards Merle for, leaving him because he was the baby. And, his father abused him when there was no other child around to abuse, apparently. So that was really sad. And also Merle had that same jealousy that Shane had about Rick and Daryl's relationship. It reminded me of Shane. How, like Rick and Daryl kind of, I don't know, it's like their connections with Shane and Merle. It was almost like they had to grow out of those connections or something, like maybe something about those relationships were holding them back. I think it's really clear with Merle, but and maybe not as clear as Shane, but I think it's kind of the same thing. And then also.
Yeah, it's similar because I think it took Rick a long time to realize the extent of how bad it was with Shane, of how far he'd gone and everything, and how he couldn't be helped.
Yeah.
I want to say, I love Renee so much. I enjoy listening to her calls so much. I hope she hears this. I just so delighted when I hear her voice when I'm listening to the review episode. So that's pretty cool. And really quickly, hopefully if I have time, I wanted to comment on the Michonne and her pets thing being racist. I'm Black. Not that means a super lot, but just for context, I feel like sometimes Black performers and actors dealing with the burden of racism, I feel like sometimes it's just kind of affects the roles they can take and how when they take these roles, I feel like it affects how people view them because it's always through that lens of race, and it's not really
Mm.
a dig on anyone. It's just kind of this fact that's kind of sad. They just don't have the same freedom as white actors, in my opinion,
Yeah.
and maybe it's kind of the same for women as well. I think. So that's my tiny little comment on that.
Mhm.
Um, as usual, love listening to this. I catch up when I can so I can leave a comment. Life's getting busy with the kiddos going back to school and everything, but I am still listening and catching up with you guys. Love you. Bye.
Oh, thanks,
That's great.
Lisa.
Yeah, that thing you said, it reminds me of something that happened on this podcast, which is I always thought that Rick and Michonne should get together. I don't know when I started thinking that, but definitely when they were on the road together, headed to Terminus and kind of flirting around and stuff. I thought, yeah, I think they're headed that way and I like it. And then when they did get together, they hooked up, they were in this house and they started making out. And the way it was staged, I thought it was weird. I mentioned it on the podcast. I probably didn't articulate it well again when I went back and looked. It's mostly about Rick. He's got his mouth open in a weird way and he's like crying while he's kissing her, you know?
But it's also like the camera's kind of above them.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit like, who's filming this?
I wanted it to feel like, oh yeah, so romantic, sexy. And it was like, why are they staging it this way? It's so weird. And I think I said it was creepy. And there were some Black listeners who were really offended by the way I described it and said that it seemed racist. And I was talking with them on Twitter, like I have to ask myself that when I get accused of something like that, I look inside first. Was there some part of that had something to do? And I really thought about it. And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with anybody's skin color. It was all about the staging of it and the weirdness, mostly of Rick, the way he was kissing her. And so I said that, and they're like, well, you should still apologize. And I was like, I don't want to apologize for something when I don't feel that in my heart. And I also want, more to what Carissa, you just said, to give any person, no matter what color they are, the respect of talking about them the way that I talk about anybody else. So yeah, it was a big thing for Rick and Michonne to get together. And I think people love that who like positive representation, which I also like. And they thought that should just be celebrated. And I can respect that, but I didn't feel that way. And I want to be able to talk about any character and say how I honestly feel, regardless of what color they are. And to me, that's actually respect. I won't pretend, oh, I can't say anything if there's a Black person involved because they might take it as a sign of racism. No, I'm going to be just as negative about it as I would with any character if that's how I feel, you know. But it really hurt me that they said that and that they wouldn't engage with me on it and try to understand where I was really coming from. And I was going to bring it up on the podcast, but I decided not to because it was just a conversation on Twitter. And I felt at the time that maybe it wasn't the right time to bring that in, and I didn't have the facility to talk about it. But since we've been talking about that kind of thing more on the podcast lately, and I feel like maybe you guys know where I'm coming from more, I decided to go ahead and talk about it now. And maybe I shouldn't have, I don't know, but that's what it reminded me of. And then after that, I loved Rick and Michonne. I thought they had great chemistry. And when they were romantic together later, like in The Ones Who Live, it was awesome. So I really just think it was the staging of that scene.
It's okay because Twitter is broken anyway now, so no one can hurt you.
Twitter's fucked up.
Twitter's
but I like
just
those,
the worst.
The listeners who were involved with that, they brought in another person who didn't know me, and she was really coming at me, and I tried to be really respectful to her too. But I think they stopped listening, and that makes me sad because I liked them, and I wish they were still listening.
Yeah, I guess it's hard, isn't it? Because it was such a big thing in a way to have Rick and Michonne get together and to see a powerful Black woman in that position. Yeah, it's hard. It's a tricky one.
It is. Yeah, and I'm sure I could have handled it better and really paid respect to that part of it and celebrated it. So sorry,
not just replied in abusive gifts.
Yeah, and said, "Screw you guys, I'm going
Screw you
home."
guys.
No,
Too
I
dead.
tried.
I did try.
Anyway, let's move on.
I always love hearing from Carissa.
Absolutely, me too.
Danielle Dement-Yost says, the Glenn and Maggie storyline is complicated and difficult. Glenn is so fixated on whether the governor did or did not rape Maggie that he overlooks the significance of the sexual assault she endured. He seems to feel like if the governor did not actually rape her, she wouldn't be so upset, so assumes she is keeping something from him. Danielle, I have tried to articulate this, and you've just articulated it bang on. I couldn't agree more. In this episode, Maggie spells out everything that the governor did to her, and Glenn's only response to the question is to question whether or not he raped her. He fails to recognise the trauma that Maggie has been through because the governor did not actually force intercourse on her, but the violation she has endured and the memory of the fear and helplessness she experienced is plenty for her to be struggling with. I cautiously say that this is not an unrealistic portrayal of how some men view sexual assault. The other aspect, of course, is that Glenn is making this all about him and takes it upon himself to imply to the group that she's been raped, rather than allowing her to process and share or not share her experience in her own way and in her own time. He feels a certain degree of ownership over Maggie's sexuality and feels that his turf has been infringed upon. He wants revenge as though something has been done to him and Maggie sees it. She's pissed at him because he is less worried about how she is doing and supporting her than he is with defending his honour as the one Maggie belongs to.
Yeah. And I mean, just the part where she said she started defending why she took her shirt off is really what makes me think there's that piece of not only about him thinking, oh, you know, I don't believe you because you seem like something worse than what you're saying happened, as if what happened wasn't worse enough. That's true as well. But just the fact that she is like, I didn't have a choice. Okay, I took off my shirt because he told me to because I didn't want them to chop your hand off, makes me think that she senses that he's somehow blaming her for it or thinking that she enjoyed it, or I don't know, that somehow it's just a slight on him that happened to her.
Yeah. Danielle goes on to say rape or the threat of it has been used as a weapon of war since time began. Soldiers rape young women in front of their fathers, brothers and husbands to remind men how powerless they are. Women become the victims in these contests of machismo, as though the women themselves are only an extension of the men. It devalues women in such a fundamental way, and it leaves women feeling unloved and without their own unique importance. What happened to Maggie is no longer about her at all, but about Glenn and the governor, and it infuriates her and leaves her conflicted about her feelings for Glenn. I must say, it left me rather conflicted about my feelings for Glenn at the time as well. Sorry if this has been talked to death already, but I just wanted to put in my 2 cents. For the last couple of months, I've been giving my entertainment time and energy to Marvel and finishing my rewatch of The Walking Dead with my son, his first time. We are now starting World Beyond. Good choice. Skipping Fear entirely. Even better choice. I'm happy to be back on track with you on your rewatch now and look forward to contributing more going forward. What if Andrea had truly stepped up as the new leader of Woodbury and banished the governor?
Yeah.
I would watch that.
That would have been a good storyline.
I would watch that, yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I'm glad you're back on track, Danielle.
Yeah.
Dina wrote in and said, hello, Jason and Lucy. I tried to keep this short, truly, but we just returned home from bringing our firstborn to his freshman year at Emerson.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a bit freaked. That's my alma mater, by the way.
Oh, wow.
You are my therapy, so I will babble at you. Last spring, we grounded the aforementioned son. Bored, he plopped onto the sofa while I watched The Walking Dead. He didn't have many comments until home this episode. When Daryl said to Merle, they didn't owe us nothing, Jabe said, I get why you like Daryl now. Then he patted me on the head and added, you may continue your weird obsession. And yeah, this is the episode on my third rewatch that I did indeed fall in love with Daryl. This one is bursting with all sorts of flavors. Glenn's testosterone-fueled desperation, Herschel's reason and compassion, Rick's rambling after Galadriel, Carol and Axel's budding friendship, Beth's youth of baby therapy with Maggie, Michonne's cool but non-practical wardrobe, Milton begging for the governor's scraps, and spectacular zombie action. That's a great paragraph. This is bursting really with all sorts of flavors and then just succinctly stating them all. I like it. By the end, their house is damaged and emotions still need fixing, but they are all home, even if our favorite racist cousin appears for Sunday dinner. Daryl and Merle may have spent their childhood watching Mork and Mindy, That's a great Daryl show call out. But they never had a home, and from facts sprinkled throughout the series, they seem to have spent most of their adulthood wandering. Merle scoring drugs and Daryl trailing after him. A few episodes ago, when Daryl scooped Judith into his arms, cooed at her, and fed her the bottle like a pro, I was taken aback. Way out of character. The writers fucked up. Later, I realized that the writing was solid. Daryl's character hadn't changed. Instead, his true self emerged. I agree at this point, yeah. Surrounded by people who loved him, he was safe. They would never jeer at him for going all gooey over a baby. Merle would. Now Daryl is at ease with himself, calmly responding to Merle's inanity and jeers or outright ignoring him. He acts without asking Merle's permission. He no longer needs to follow Merle, and he's definitely not afraid to confront him. As for Merle, he did abandon a young Daryl, true, but I get why he did. To bury any guilt he felt, he probably convinced himself that Daryl would escape the same abuse. The man looked, and we don't know what age it was either. Maybe we do. I forget though. But yeah. I mean, as he said, he would have killed his father if he would have stayed. Maybe he should have tried taking Daryl with him. I don't know. The man looked horrified at Daryl's scars. Forced to confront that guilt, his bravado begins to dismantle. That was such a touching moment, by the way.
It was.
When Daryl leaves, Merle seems shocked, perplexed, and vulnerable. He's starting to realize that home isn't with Daryl. Rather, Daryl is home. There we go. There's another home. As an aside, Merle could have been just a one-dimensional character, a selfish, violent, racist bully. Rooker subtly makes him complex and makes us feel all sorts of emotions towards him, from hatred to laughter to pity. And I do pity Merle. He'll never know his true self. It simply cannot surface from the violence of his upbringing. I think that's why his death is so sad. He knows he might die when he goes after the governor, and he does it anyway because he does love Daryl, but he never found his own self-worth before dying. But that's getting ahead, and I got to go because, I have stuff. That's so good, Dina. Touching.
It's so good. She has things.
Yeah, she's got things going on.
Stuff.
All right, let's see what's going on with Steve Brown.
Oh, Steve.
Hello, the cast of us. This is Steve. I just finished watching Suicide King, and I know I'm cutting it close, but this is for the Walking Dead episode Home. And thank you, Lucy, last week for mentioning the X-Files episode. It's such an infamous X-Files episode, and I just love it because I'm a huge X-Files fan. Okay, so we don't pick up directly where we left off, but, Rick has put out Tyrese and his group and Sasha. He's seen a vision of Lori, and now he's up on the walls looking at Michonne. And this is the crazy Rick episode where he's seeing the visions of Lori. I don't believe any of this for a second, Governor. You definitely going to retaliate. You're not going to step down. You're not giving in. I mean, okay, it seems a little sincere, but at the same time, whoa, I forgot how bloodthirsty Glenn got after this whole torture with Merle and stuff and what he thinks happened to Maggie. But man, I know he gets over it, but this bloodthirsty Glenn is not wanting to just go in and put a bullet in the governor's head. Whoa. Okay, at least Herschel was able to talk Glenn a little bit down. We're going to defend the prison. We're not going to go attack the governor. Good. That conversation between Milton and Andrea. Where's the governor? On a run? Oh, so Axel's kind of coming clean about why he's in prison, but we don't still know the truth though. Talking to Carol, yeah. We see that Carol has learned to handle weapons a little bit, so she's telling Axel or training him a little bit. Oh, now we've got Merle and Daryl, and we see that Daryl has changed. He's going to help these people on the bridge. I don't remember what happens here, but I know Daryl helps him. Oh, he smashed that walker's head in the trunk lid. Oh. Ooh, this confrontation between Daryl and Merle, he is not going to let Merle rob them. He's going to let him go. And it is Yellow Jacket Creek, so Daryl was right. Oh, and this is the first time we were seeing the scars on Daryl's back, isn't it? Oh, and Daryl has now figured out that he can't stay with Merle. He's got to go back to the prison. Oh, Daryl, very, very insightful. I may be the one that's walking away, but you're the one that's leaving again. Okay, what's in the back of that truck that Glenn just took off in? It's all filled with something. Maggie's feeding the baby, and meanwhile, back at Crazy Town with Rick. And Rick just told Herschel, I got stuff out here. Stuff. Ooh, a foreshadowing statement from Herschel there. It's not safe out here. Oh! And Axel gets shot in the head just in the middle of conversation with Carol. And the attack on the prison is on. How did one of them get onto the guard tower? I remember this box truck now, the one that just entered the prison, just crashed to the gates. Oh, Glenn's back, and Daryl and Merle coming in to help save the day. Oh, and that look in Rick's eyes there at the end, Andrew Lincoln. Oh, wow. Next week.
Raging Red.
It's good. Nice and emotional.
I love Steve.
Yeah, so Axel robbed a gas station with a toy gun. That's what he did.
I mean, why not?
He found out, or
And
so he says.
I feel like very responsible for bringing home back into people's minds. Have you seen that episode of the X-Files, Jason?
No, I never really got into X-Files.
Oh, it got like pulled from TV in America. Like it wasn't syndicated
Really?
for a long time yet. It's
And you can't say why because it would be too big of a spoiler.
I don't know if it's a spoiler. It's very like, in the final season of The Walking Dead, Maggie describes this house that she goes to where it's like loads of creepy men. Yeah, a lot of people were like, "Oh, did she just describe the plot of Home?" So it's that kind of vibe. But they have
I don't want to
there's a
watch
song.
it.
Is it I Feel Wonderful, Wonderful? It's like Johnny Mathis or something is the song for that episode, and it's so disturbing.
Wow, it sounds intense for
my flatmates and I were obsessed with it when
network
we were at uni.
TV.
Yeah, X-Files, man. Rachel Teal Edwards, who I think I've also traumatized this week, says, I guffawed when I heard the lead into last week's episode. I didn't hear it, Jason. I'll have to go back and listen.
Andrea arguing with the governor, and then he says, I never, you're just passing through. And then she says, don't do that. Don't push me away. And then I played the sound that plays on, I think The Price is Right when somebody gets the answer wrong. Dun, 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 dun.
Excellent. Well, Rachel enjoyed it. She says, totally caught me off guard. So funny. Your Andrea critique this week was 10 out of 10. I'm glad I didn't write in because I was in a mood and would have taken out on the episode. Everyone was annoying me last week with the exception of Herschel, who was perfect. Coming off your discussion of the Suicide King as both a title and a theme throughout the episode, which I really enjoyed, I'm looking forward to a breakdown of Home as the theme throughout this episode. OMG, Lucy, thank you for reminding me of the X-Files episode Home. Oof, thank God this one's a bit different. Yep. We see Daryl making a choice about who his home is and where he truly belongs. Rick, of course, is hallucinating about the woman who created a home with him and whose existence embodied home for him. Andrea is an idiot and is somehow just kind of questioning the stability of her new home. Glenn and the gang make a choice to fortify and make a stand to defend their home. And last but not least, the governor lost his connection to home and to any semblance of sanity when Penny was killed, and now he's out to make people suffer by destroying home for everyone else. There are definitely interesting parallels between Rick and the governor since both of them have cracked. Notably though, Rick is fully aware that he's hallucinating, which thankfully means he's not fully gone, but he still feels compelled to explore these hallucinations. They are clearly providing some comfort and possible closure for him.
I mean, this is different than how he was at the end of the episode last week when he was waving his gun around saying, you don't belong here. You don't belong here. Go away.
Herschel tells him to come inside and get some rest, which begs the question, when was the last time Rick slept? It's no wonder he's hallucinating. He hasn't slept in about 305 days. Oh, I love the timeline mention. I like how kind and understanding the gang is being, though they're oddly nonchalant about it. Aside from Herschel and maybe Michonne, no one seems super concerned. They're like, they're just like, he needs a moment to gather himself. He's had a week. Anyway, this is how you operate a pistol. I guess they have bigger problems to focus on. The governor has fully embraced his psychopathy, visiting Andrea for some intentional manipulation, followed by a super creepy visit with Milton and a road trip to the prison. I need to rant for a moment so that the governor calmly walking through the chaos, as you guys so eloquently put it last week, continues to piss me off. We get the third instance of it this week during a firefight. I'm trying to have the mindset that he just doesn't give a fuck anymore and doesn't care if he dies, but my read is that he behaves like this. He behaves like he believes he's invincible, which would track since he's a psychopath. Yeah. But he actually never gets hit, so he just gets more and more smug and also does seem invincible to me as a viewer. It's embarrassing and ridiculous that no one on our team has good enough aim to even come close to hitting him. even though they can hit walkers from clear across the prison yard. I know, suspension of disbelief. If they killed him, the story would be over, but this is an irrational rant. Right before they leave, when he cockily shoots off a bunch of rounds without even aiming at anything, with that infuriating smug smile, and then he just leans his head to the side when the bullets hit the truck next to him. Ugh, I'm sorry, I just hate it so much. Okay, rant over.
2 things on that. One, how does he die?
The governor.
Yeah, Michonne.
Michonne doesn't
kills his
properly
zombie
kill
head.
him. Lily,
I forgot about her. Yeah.
Yeah, she kills him, I think.
Okay. So, and then 2, I think what you're saying is totally right. They should have totally hit him, but I sometimes filmmakers go with what feels cool, even if it doesn't totally make sense, and they just think it's cooler to have him act like the Terminator, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The Dixon Brothers storyline was the most captivating part of this episode for me. Rooker must be an awesome actor because Merle is the absolute worst, and I still enjoy watching him. Everything he says and does is repulsive. There's absolutely nothing redeemable about Merle. It's so satisfying when Daryl finally realizes this and ditches him. I guess not so much ditches him, but communicates in so many words. I'm done following you. I'm making a different choice. I've changed, and I'm doing things my way now, with or without you. Similar to Glenn 2 episodes ago, this feels like Daryl's final step into manhood and individuality, breaking the toxic generational patterns. We get another potent glimpse into his past, their family dynamic, and the abuse he endured. Daryl says, "Fuck you, I make my own destiny," to all of it when he walks away from Merle. He's found the place where he belongs, he's chosen his family and his future, he knows his value, and so do they. Mm-hmm. It was painful watching him leave last week, but so worth the delicious reward of this resolution. Mm-hmm. Final note, R.I.P. Axel. Gone too soon, but many thanks for saving Carol.
Yeah. I
Quite
mean,
right.
just by being a shield.
Yep, human shield.
That was great, Rachel. Glad you're writing in. Okay, we got one more call. It's from Tej.
Yay, Tej.
Hi, this is Tej from Wisconsin, calling on episode 310. Loving the rewatch, loving especially the deep conversations it's inciting in the podcast on some of the heavy social issues that we all are working through collectively. One that has stuck with me the last couple of weeks, I thoroughly enjoyed your 2 perspectives as far as Glenn's reaction to Maggie's assault at Woodbury, because I remember I had a very different interpretation than either of yours when I first watched it. So it kind of perked up my antenna, and I've been paying close attention to it. But I perceived Glenn's anger to be less about feeling like he failed Maggie or that he was empathizing with Maggie, and more about if the assault had been, in Glenn's mind, the worst case in Glenn's mind, that it was akin to being, I don't want to say cheated on, but that something was being taken from him.
That's what I'm getting at this time, yeah.
In a way that wasn't in Glenn's mind based on what happened. That was how I had interpreted it. Mm-hmm. So I was watching for it, and the prison scene this week where Glenn and Maggie are so cold and angry towards each other really just makes me think that's what was happening. Mm-hmm. Glenn being so cold to Maggie doesn't make sense if he was feeling that he failed as a protector or that he was empathizing with her. And Maggie's hostility towards Glenn, especially when she said, he asked plainly, did this happen? And she said, no, it didn't. Are you happy, or do you feel better, or something along those lines, makes me think that's what she was picking up as well. Yeah, so
I agree.
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and I know, speaking ill of Glenn is not popular in this universe here with how we feel about him. But his reaction, I don't know, I didn't like it. I still don't like it. And I tried, even with a more generous mind, to interpret Glenn's behavior and reactions better, and it just it's not clicking with me. So anyway, that's all. Thank you for this. Also, this is how dumb I am in the rewatch. I saw Axel standing next to Carol, and I was like, isn't that the same outfit he got shot in?
Oh,
and
no.
Still was shocked when the bullet came, because I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was several episodes later. So, all right. Thank you.
Oh,
That's funny.
You and me both, man. You and me both.
Yeah, Tej, that's exactly what I was saying. And yeah, Glenn's not doing. Glenn's not being very cool right now. He's being
he's being a dick right now.
But we know that they end up getting married, isn't it, this season, I think?
Yeah.
And so I can't remember how, but apparently he realizes what an asshole he's being and makes good on it, and changes.
Yeah.
I'm sure he does. We'll see. So I forgot to play this last message last week. It's another one from Tej. Actually, it's from his son Logan, and I think Logan's nephew Seth and Ethan. Tej said, "I just went back and found these. I haven't rewatched 3.8 yet. I will later today, but their feedback made me smile." So this is just a little blast from the past.
Oh.
My name is Seth and I am 11.
My name's Logan and I'm 10. My name's Ethan and I'm 13.
We are at the mid-season finale of season 3.
And we're going to record our reactions right after we're done watching.
I think death sentence.
Oh my god, they caught Merle's brother.
That's a surprise that they caught him. Like, he's one of the most stealthy. How did they get him?
He means Daryl, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm speechless.
That's it. I just thought it'd be fun to play that because they used to call in.
It's also like a really good point. We never find out how they did catch him.
That's true. Yeah. What happened?
Yeah.
Logan, by the way, sounds like this now.
I know, he's all grown up. Aww.
All right, that is our show, episode 596. Thank you guys all for listening. As always, next episode will be The Walking Dead, season 3, episode 11, I Ain't a Judas.
If you want to write in or leave us a voice message about it, you can find all our contact information at podcastica.com.
And while you're there, please check out our other podcasts. We have a ton going on. One thing that's starting up right now, because as I'm recording this, The Rings of Power Season 2, I think Amazon debuted the first 3 episodes today. And so Anwen and Penny are recording on the first one today, and that should be out Friday night or Saturday morning. So as you're hearing this, you should have an episode. Yeah, so check that out.
Excellent.
Also, this episode is made possible by Patreon supporters like Patrick Babin, who pledged their support at patreon.com/Jason Kabassi. So thank you so much to Patrick. One thing we do, occasionally we have call-in shows, and tonight in a few hours here, we're doing one where we all play Cards Against Humanity